Welcome to the Rector's Update for August 12th, 2020. My name is Susie Comer, and I am the Rector at St. Mark's Episcopal Church in Richmond, Texas. My grace is sufficient for you, for power is made perfect in weakness. So I will boast all the more gladly of my weakness, so that the power of Christ may dwell in me. Therefore I am content with weaknesses, insults, hardships, persecutions, and calamities for the sake of Christ. For whenever I am weak, then I am strong. Paul writes of a personal weakness unknown to us, that he wished that God would take away from him a thorn in the flesh that tormented him. We don't know if it was physical or interpersonal or financial. All we know is that Paul writes that the Lord said to him, "My grace is sufficient for you, for power is made perfect in weakness." Paul's utter dependence upon God as a result of this thorn, this weakness, was cause for him to rejoice. This is the 19th blog that I've produced this year, and it marks 19 weeks that we have been away from the church offices. 19 weeks that we have been worshiping together online. 19 weeks since we first were instructed to stay home and stay safe. This pandemic has highlighted our physical limits and our helplessness in the face of this virus. We are only now beginning to understand and develop vaccines in response to it. Some days my joke is that everything feels like it is an uphill battle. What is your COVID confusion? You know, that thing that we have to do now that reminds us that we don't have it together, that thorny problem. For me, it would be online worship. It seems like as soon as I begin to get comfortable, another problem arises, and I have to seek help to figure it out. I feel helpless in worship when the streaming falters, and what you folks see at home is a hot mess. But Paul embraces his weakness because it is a reminder that God's grace is sufficient. It is God that will bring Paul along and give him the words, open the doors, make opportunities. It is not Paul. These stinging moments of helplessness are pretty close to home these days. What stings for you? Perhaps some skill you were once good at but aren't allowed to do right now. Perhaps it may be the sting of grief or of isolation, or the sting of policies that you must work under or study under, which leave you feeling helpless. Paul's struggle is our struggle. We can only do what we are able to do and pray and trust that the Lord will bless our efforts. Like Paul, we can trust that the power of God dwells in us, especially when we need Jesus the most. As Paul reminds the Christians in Corinth, he is not weak in dealing with you, but is powerful in you. For he was crucified in weakness, but lives by the power of God.